Hey y'all, how's it going? Welcome to my kitchen. This is the to plate part of Seed to Plate channel. And as you can see, my kitchen is apparently messy, but also not very well lit. So we're gonna do our best here. And I'm gonna talk you through what I'm doing. I might have to voice over parts of this, but I think for me, the whole point of this channel is bringing in the garden into the kitchen, which I actually do all the time. So I'm going to show you the harvest from today, talk about what we're going to do with each thing, and then I'm going to actually make myself a little snack because I'm very hungry. So first things first, these are unripened Roma tomatoes. Now you see some of them are starting to turn yellow. The reason I went ahead and picked these is because we're supposed to get a ton of rain this week. Like there's chance of rain every single day. And when tomatoes are at this stage, when they're starting to ripen and they're starting to yellow, they will crack from too much water. So I went ahead and picked these. I'm gonna leave them out on the counter to finish ripening, and that is completely fine. Now this is my next very proud harvest. This is actually an orange bell pepper that has not turned yet. So it has just started to blush, but I went ahead and picked it for a very similar reason that I picked the tomatoes, and that's because too much water and too much moisture will actually cause a ripe bell pepper to rot. So we went ahead and picked this guy. I'm gonna put him in the fridge, and even if he doesn't turn orange, I'm still gonna use this because it's still food, still edible, still tasty. So here is our bell pepper that we are going to put in the fridge until it is maybe orange, maybe not, I don't know. The next thing we harvested today was a ton of oregano. So this is all oregano, and my oregano is just at the plot is like a bush. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to hang this to dry. I'm going to tie it to some cotton twine and hang it in my pantry to dry, and then we'll have some dried oregano. And then I'm actually gonna do the same thing with some mint. So this is all peppermint from my plot. I'm gonna do the same thing with this. I'm gonna tie it up in the pantry and hang it to dry. This is actually what the dried mint and peppermint looks like. I did this a couple of weekends ago. And so this you just use as loose leaf tea. So you can drink this as loose leaf tea, and it's super tasty. Another herb that we got today was sage. Now I don't really love dried sage. I much prefer to use it when it's fresh. So I'm going to figure out a way to use this big beautiful sage here in the next few days, so that will keep fresh. And then okay guys, so two unexpectedly large harvests today. One was tomatillos. So this is a tomatillo. Again, this lighting is absolute garbage, but this paper comes off to reveal the tomatillo. And so with these, I'm going to be making some salsa, and the salsa will also be made with, I got one serrano and one jalapeno. This is the time of year where with peppers, you get like a couple at a time, and then all of a sudden, you have so many peppers you don't even know what to do with. So the other thing that so this is gonna be for some tomatillo salsa that I'm gonna make here in a little bit. These are shishito peppers. So these are shishito peppers. These are one of my favorite things that I'm actually growing this year so far. And these are amazing snacks. So that is actually what we're gonna be cooking today, are some blistered tomatillo peppers with a garlic dill aioli dip. So this is a lot of peppers for one person, so I think I'm only gonna cook like half of these for myself, and just have this as like a snack. You wanna make sure that obviously all your produce is washed, but we're going to take whatever peppers we want, and I like to leave the stems on because the way that we're gonna be eating these is we're gonna be dipping them and then eating them. So I like to leave the stems on just so that I have like a little handle. So, can I eat all of those? We're just gonna grab a few more. Oh, that's a serrano. I don't want that in there. That's also a serrano. Ooh, I almost just gave myself, that would not have been nice. You know what, we're just gonna cook all of these. So, I grab a bowl. You wanna put all of your washed peppers in a bowl. And then you want a neutral cooking oil. So I'm using canola oil. I usually use olive oil with a lot of things, but with something like this, you don't really want the olive oil affecting the flavor. And you really just want like a tablespoon or two. You don't need too much oil. And then we're actually gonna preheat our cast iron. I just use like a shallow cast iron. This is our log cast iron I love. And so I'm just gonna heat this on like medium high heat. And then you just wanna coat your peppers in the oil. And then the reason we do this in the bowl, so if you like to cook, you're probably wondering why I didn't just put the oil to heat in this pan. If you like to cook, you'll probably be wondering why I'm doing that. That's because you want to really be able to control how much oil is on these peppers. So you just need like a very light coating of oil. This is just barely shiny. So that's all you need. You don't need anything crazy. And then to avoid getting the extra oil into the pan once it's heated, you're actually just gonna grab these out of here and put them in your pan. Don't dump it, because then you're just getting all the extra oil in there that you're trying to avoid. So now while this is preheating, we are going to make our dipping sauce. Now this dipping sauce, you can do a lot of different things with, and you can also make this way fresher than I'm going to. So this is kind of like my quick version of this. If I was actually going to take more time and dedication, I would use fresh ingredients. I would use fresh garlic. I would use fresh dill. I would make my own aioli. Truth be told, I don't have time for that today because I'm very tired and I just need to eat something because I was just mulching and weeding at the community garden for the last 4 hours. So we're going to take some shortcuts, but feel free to be a purist about this. Depending on how many of these you're gonna make, you want mayonnaise. So this is just regular old mayonnaise. Again, you can make a homemade aioli. I've done it before. It's really good, but I just don't have the time or desire to do that today. So you're gonna just put maybe like, I don't know. We'll do 1/4 cup. And then you want to thin it out with just a little bit of milk, and you don't have to use like whole milk for this. You can use plant-based milks, just make sure that they're unsweetened. And there's maybe like a couple of tablespoons of milk in here. It's really not that much. And I might have gotten it a little bit thin, so we might need to add a little more mayo here. So this is all cooking to taste. I am infamous for not using recipes because I think, you know, as long as you can learn the basics, I think you can trust yourself to cook to your taste. So this is salt and pepper that we just always have together because we do a lot of Texas barbecuing, which is just salt and pepper. So I just do salt and pepper to taste. And then this is dried dill. Now, the one thing I will say is please make sure that your spices are not 10 years old. Go get new spices. So dill you want to be careful with. You don't need that much, like maybe half a teaspoon. I just do like 2 big pinches of dill. And then the garlic powder, I don't know, maybe like another half of a teaspoon of garlic powder. You really don't want the flavors to be too overwhelming. And then this is lemon juice that I had just squeezed for something. I don't remember what I was doing. But this is just a little bit of lemon juice, and I just want a little bit of it to give it a little bit of brightness and acidity. It's really not that much. If you've got a fresh lemon, I would say this is like maybe the squeeze from like a lemon wedge. It's really not that much, but it just helps add some brightness to it. And when you're thinking about this, I really try and hit the key elements of having fat, heat, salt, and acid. So you're getting your acid from the lemon juice, you're getting your heat from the peppers, and your salt, and then salt, fat, oh, and then you're getting your fat from the mayonnaise. So that's why this tastes really good. I would say that's balanced. I might need a little more dill. I'm not getting as much dill as I would like. So I'm just gonna add another pinch of dill. But dill's one of those you gotta be careful, because all of a sudden you add too much dill and it gets to be a lot. So that'll be our dipping sauce. And then our pan is nice and hot. So like when I'm testing the heat of a pan, I literally just put my hand over it. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the peppers out of here. This pan's really hot. And we're just gonna put them down. They're gonna dance a little bit. And you wanna make sure that all the peppers are actually like touching the pan, because that's how you're gonna get the blistered effect. So you don't, if your pan's not too big, or if you've got too many peppers for your pan, then you definitely wanna do this in batches and not just do it all at once. So there's a few left in there, but I'm gonna put these in here and then not touch them. Don't touch them. Just let them be, because the flavor that you're looking for is the Maillard reaction, which is what happens when food browns in a pan. So that's what you're looking for here, and you're not gonna get that if you keep moving everything around all the time. So just leave it be, and then when you think maybe you're ready, you can just lift one up and check the bottom of it, and then you can start moving them around. Unless you're like me and you grew up in a kitchen and you have zero feeling in your hands, please use tongs to do this. I'm just gonna use my hands because, like I said, I barely have feeling in them anyways, to check. So that's what it's gonna look like. You can't see that. So they're not quite ready yet. This is smoked skirt steak from the other night that I'm snacking on. So good. Okay guys, let's go see what this looks like in non-terrible lighting. Hey y'all. Little kids everywhere. So here's the finished product. Very tasty. It's a really good little snack. And that, y'all, my dog thinks she's getting this. She could not be more wrong. So you just take a little dip. Really good. The only thing with shishito peppers, sometimes you'll get a spicy one. They are a mild pepper, but rarely you will get a spicy one. So shishito peppers have been really fun to grow this year. I'm so glad I got to show you guys my first recipe, and leave a like if you enjoyed this, subscribe if you want to see more garden eats, but hopefully this type of video will become a much more regular occurrence. Thanks so much for watching, and have a good week.